What's up, good people? Man, why didn't I cross? I should have cross post on YouTube. Listen, on this Saturday morning, I've been having thoughts, and I just wanted to share some thoughts with you. So I'm probably in my mind when I say this, in my mind, I'm in rare form today. When I say rare form, meaning my thoughts have been like firing, bam, bam, bam. My synapses and all of my brain functioning has been just going off. And I tried to write a few notes, but my brain was going faster than my hand. I said, you know what? Let me just go live, and I'll just share some of the things that that there's no particular order to this, right? I don't know. It's really no particular order. I just want to help some folk, and whoever it's for, it's for. I just heard Dr. Myron. So I was just on a excuse me, Zoom call with Myron Golden, and he made a really good point. I did write that down. He made a really good point that so he talked about how so first of all, he uses biblical principles to teach business, right? And so today he was talking to us, and he talked about how when Jesus said, "My sheep know my voice," right? And the scripture does not ever talk about turning goats into sheep. You feel me? So he says, "My sheep know my voice." And then he said, we can apply, not interpret the scripture, but apply that to our life as content creators, where your message is for the folk that follow you. So your sheep will know your voice, and they're going to follow you. If they're not following you, then they're not your sheep. So don't get upset because folk don't respond the way you want them to respond. They're not your sheep. And then I say it this way. If you're putting out a message, this wasn't in my notes, this is random. If you're putting out a message, and I'm talking to me too, because I have fallen victim to this. But if you're putting out a message and folk aren't responding, or people aren't watching, or you don't have a lot of views, or whatever that is, don't change the message necessarily. Like, check the message. But if the message is quality, don't change the message, change the crowd. Change the crowd. Okay, so here's the first thing that came to my mind that I've been thinking about today. Your world, even though this is random, some of this you're going to want to take notes on. Well, maybe not, because you could just replay it, right? Okay, whatever. Your world only is one of those exclusive words like always and never. They say we're not supposed to use exclusive words like only and always and never, right? But hear what I'm saying. And if this is not true, then you can, if you think you can prove differently, great. Your world only exists in your mind. That's it. Your world only exists in your mind. Think about it. Think about it. So when we talk about experiencing the planet, okay, water on this planet is wet for every human being. Trees are made out of wood for every human being. Winter is cold for every human being. The sun is hot for every human being. Here's the thing. If the planet itself, if what we think is reality out here in the world, what we see with our eyes, if it's the same for everybody, how then do all of us different human beings experience a different reality? Because the reality is in your mind. So what does that mean? That means it's not in your partner, right? So this week, probably kind of why I'm fired up, this week has been an unusual week because in my office, I've had client after client after client after client who I've been coaching and teaching and guiding for months, who are still operating at a level that is so far, let me just say it this way, still operating at an elementary level. Here's the thing. The truth is, you want to know the truth? Here's the truth. They paid me to help them grow, and I can do that, but you really don't need to pay anybody to get out of elementary school. Like you getting out of elementary school, that should be your elementary school. Yeah, but these folk, Paul says, I think he said it to the Corinthians, by now you should be teachers, but instead I have to feed you with milk because you cannot receive the meat of the word. Basically, Paul was saying, y'all should be past this by now. We talked about this day one. We talked about this our first 2-3 sessions. You still struggling with that? Okay, so your world only exists in your mind. But that brings me to this. I thought about this last night. This is something I am going to heavily start teaching to everybody I come across that wants to know anything about marriage from me. First of all, to my pre-married folk, if you want to be married, if you are going to be married, if you're looking for someone to marry, you must. Now, this is the gospel according to Clifton. This is what I believe, based on what I see, what I know, and what I've lived. You feel me? If you're going to be married, you need to be committed. Let's look up the word committed, because I think y'all don't think I'm playing. I think let's just see. Define committed. Because this word is not, haphazardly making a decision, right? So I want to see what Webster says. Because before I finish saying what I'm committed. Let's see. Having a pledge or commitment to someone. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Characterized by such a pledge. Okay, so then I don't feel like looking up pledge. Okay, so for the sake of time, and because we're live, committed means. Oh, so can I give you I can give you an example. I'll give you an example of committed. Let me change this back. Let me give you an example of committed. Okay, so you'll know what I'm talking about. The Hebrew boys before they were thrown into the fiery furnace, they said to the king, because they were supposed to bow down when the music started playing, and they said, we can't do that because we serve the God of Israel. And so if you don't bow down, we're going to throw you in the fire. And the king said, can your God deliver you from my hands? Here's what they said. They said, oh, king, live forever. I think they said that. They said, oh, king something. Here's the point. I think I need to slow my brain down. Slow your brain down, sir. Slow it down. Here we go. The Hebrew boy said, the God we serve is able. The God we serve is willing. But if he doesn't, we're still not going to bow. That's commitment. So see, knowledge says that he's able. My knowledge of God says that he's able. My faith says, oh, he will. He's going to deliver us out of this. But my commitment says, if he doesn't, I'm still not going to bow. Meaning, when I'm committed, I'm going the way that I said I'm going, regardless of what happens. Okay, so that's committed. If you are going to be married, you got to be committed to personal development. Yes, so if I could have dropped my mic, I would have, but it costs too much and it's on this thing. But listen, if you are going to be married, you have to be committed to personal development. Why? Number one, because your mind exists in your head. Your world exists in your mind. I don't know, important here. This is not where your mind is, right? Your mind is not a fit. Like this is your brain is in your head. Your mind is something different. But anyway, you got to be committed to personal development, because before you get to marriage, there's all kind of stuff filling your mind, all kind of negative beliefs, all kind of limiting beliefs, all kinds of things that are anti-God. Why does that matter? Because marriage is God's idea. Marriage is God's idea. It's not the state's idea. The state may regulate it, but marriage is God's idea. So what that means is marriage works the way God says it works. Now you can do it the way you want to, but ain't no guarantees that's going to work. The divorce rate is as high as it is because folk are not doing marriage the way God designed it. And I ain't talking about going to church. I'm not talking about religiosity. I'm talking about principles. So if your mind is full of stuff that don't go with marriage, you got to be committed to personal development so that you can keep growing. So that's before you even get married. You got to be committed to personal development, because when these two people come together, they are trying to join two different worlds. Ain't no telling what's been going on in these two different worlds separately. When y'all bring them together, all y'all can see is, oh, we love each other and we're in love and we're going to make this work. How do you know? How you know you're going to make it work? You hadn't seen the future. You don't even know what's all going on in their world, right? But we make the commitment. See, that's why you got to be committed to personal development, because you don't know what the future holds. And if you get into it and you're not committed to personal development, you will suffer without question. Marriage is not the place you come for happiness. Marriage is not the place you come for peace and quiet, right? Marriage is not the place you come to get all your fantasies that you found in Hollywood, to get those met, right? Marriage is the place you come to when you want to share your life, meaning you want to give, not just receive, right? Not just receive. Marriage is the place where you come to when you want to create something that God has ordained you to create. It's interesting to me that marriage is the place that God designed. Now, we've messed it up. We've done our own whatever. But marriage is the place that God designed for life to be created. Right? Life on the planet, God's design. Life on the planet is not supposed to be created outside of marriage. And I'm just saying that to show you how important marriage is. Okay? But if you're not committed to personal development, how then are you going to develop a marriage mindset? Because I was going to say no one that has come into my office grew up with a marriage mindset. And a marriage mindset is not just, I love you and I'm going to be married. No. It's a whole lot of other stuff that goes into a marriage mindset that I'm not going to get into because it's too long. I'll do another video on that. But the point is, if you're not committed to if you're not committed to personal development, let's say in your childhood you was molested. Okay. You were molested, and so you become an adult and you never do therapy, you never do any kind of healing, you just kind of grow, and you feel like because you don't think about it, it don't hurt. And because it doesn't hurt anymore, you think, oh, I'm over that. Here's the thing about trauma. Trauma never goes away on its own. Okay. You'll be 65, 85, still carrying that trauma if you don't deal with it. But let's say you were molested. That went on in your world. So if I can tie that to what I said previously. So yes, that activity happened in real life, but how you processed it in your mind. And that's where your world is, right? So that pain and the beliefs that you have surrounding that is in your mind. And if you were a child, the stories you made up about your abuse were made up from an immature, not understanding place. And so when you become an adult and you still have those child interpretations of your reality, you're going to suffer. But here's the thing. You come to marriage because, I'm not on crack and I'm not in a mental hospital. So I must be kind of good. I mean, I know I got some things going on, but I mean, I'm sane and I love this person and they love me. Let's get married. That's a disaster waiting to happen if you're not committed to personal development. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree. But the folk who my sheep hear me, right? So be committed to personal development. Like most folk do not show up to marriage. I didn't. I Most folk don't show up to marriage knowing how to communicate effectively. So you saying, well, it's just me. Well, well, what I'm supposed to do with that? Like I committed to love you, but so you think your partner is supposed to take you as is. God don't even take you as is. So your standard for your spouse is higher than God's standard. God says, nope, I'm not taking that. So folk think that the Bible is all inclusive. It's not. The Bible is very exclusive. It's not for everybody, and it doesn't include everybody. And it's not a good message for everybody. Do you understand that? And trust me, I ain't talking about heaven or hell. I'm just talking about it ain't for everybody. So when you come to marriage, you got to be committed to personal development. If you don't, I guarantee you will suffer. And unnecessarily, because guess who's in control of your personal development? You. Like, where's my so on my I'm not the example, right? But I'm making a point. I'm not the example, but I'm making a point. On my Audible list, because I like listening to books, I don't really like what? It takes. I just saw a new book by Devin Franklin. Like, anyway, I'm not finna judge anybody. Listen, what was I saying? So in my Audible account where I have my books, I have 251 books in here. Now, I haven't read all of them. I've read, I don't know how many I've read, but I got 251 books. And then in my Kindle, I have, I don't know if I'm better to tell, I don't know what this one is. Let's see. No. Let me see. Does it say? It don't tell me, but it's a lot. Okay. And then on my bookshelf and on my desk and my other bookshelf and my bookshelf at the office, there are books. Now, a few of the books are duplicates, right? Some I have hard copies, then I have Audible, then I may have a Kindle. Yes. Here's the point that I'm making, though. The reason that this is good. The reason that I have so many books, and I know that, and so compared to a lot of folk that I know, that ain't even a lot of books. So, but it's a lot for me based on where I come from. But here's the thing. The reason I have so many books is because I don't have someone in my life telling me how to do life. Like, I read because I feel like there's more growing to do, right? I read so I can be smarter, if you want to say it that way. I don't read because I'm smart. I don't read because I'm intelligent. I'm intelligent because I read. There's so many things in life that you don't know how to do and all this stuff. And there's some other folk on the planet that knows that. You can share your knowledge with them and they can share their knowledge with you. My point is, nobody knows everything, but everybody knows something. And if you're not committed to growing, marriage is not the place for you. I'm just telling you. I know at night, some folk don't like, I get it. Because you want to stay in your little cubby hole. You want to stay safe and you want to, love me as I am. That only happens in the movies. And I keep telling you guys, you're going to have to get away from this Hollywood style of marriage. It does not work. Why do you think the turnover rate in those marriages is so high? Because in the movies, happily ever after comes at the end of the movie. They don't tell you what it comes after. It comes after you kill your pride. You're only going to kill pride if you're committed to personal development. Why do you want to be committed to personal development? For you, not for them. Because your world exists in your mind. So here's what that means. A lot of folk don't realize. A lot of the pain that they encounter is because of what's going on in their mind, not what their partner is doing. Like, I wish I had a congregation so somebody could say amen. I could hear it, right? Because amen went right there, right? Folk get married. And it's like, I mean, this is who I am. I don't want to grow. Like, I don't just love me for who I am. No. You are putting unnecessary stress on your partner. And then, God forbid, both of y'all committed to not. So sometimes I have folk come in my office. Both of them are not, neither one of them are committed to personal development. I'm like, how is that? Like, if you're not committed to personal development, you're going to hurt yourself, literally. So I was saying the reason sometimes that you are in pain, a matter of fact, I want to say all the time, but I don't really have research, and so I can't really say that 100% confidently, but I believe it is 100%. But when you experience an experience, whatever you experience is interpreted by your mind. It is the reason. For example, somebody can lose a loved one and they got to go to the crazy house. Somebody else can lose a loved one. They grieve, but they become a better person. How is that? Because of how they both differently processed what happened in their mind. See, is it hurtful if let's say your partner yells at you? You may say, well, yelling is disrespectful. That's true. But does it hurt? Well, it depends. What does it depend on? It depends on how you process it. If you yell at me, I may process it as, man, let's say it's my wife. Because I was about to give an example. So let's say if it's my wife, not a friend, right? Not a cousin, not an associate, not a business, but let's say it's your wife, your partner, and they yell at you. So I'm gonna get angry if, in my mind, I believe you yelling at me is you disrespecting me because you believe I'm worthless and I don't matter, and I ain't gonna have nobody talking to me like that. So the only outcome for that is anger. If you yell at me and I interpret that as, oh dang, she's upset. She probably got a lot going on. It was disrespectful, but I mean, she ain't really mean it. Anger is not the outcome. Something else is the outcome, right? Or if you yell at me and my thought, and I process that as, man, if she'll yell at me, then she'll kill me. The outcome is fear. All these different outcomes, but same situation. How they change? Your mind. So Solomon says, above all else, above everything else in the world. And this brother knew what he's talking about because he experienced almost everything in the world. He said, above all else, guard your heart. In the Bible, heart and mind can often be used interchangeably. He says, guard your heart because from it flows the issues of life. So what that means is, when you let bad stuff get in your heart, guess what's coming out? So, which brings me to this point. You cannot blame your partner for the things that you do and say. Like, you can't blame your partner for lying. Well, I lied because you can't say that. You can't blame your partner for yelling. Well, I only yell because no. No one can make you do anything, and you are responsible for your own behavior. Like, I always give this example. If you slap me and I slap you back, I cannot say the reason I slapped you is because you slapped me, because that is not true. The reason I slap you in response to you slapping me is because of how I respond to being slapped, my behavior. So the point is, the only thing that can come out of you, it's what's in you. So if you're quiet and docile all the time, like you never say anything, you're always quiet, and then all of a sudden, boom, you blow up on somebody, they're going to say, man, the folk on the outside will be like, wow, I never seen that before. What happened? But the person that's blowing up, when you blow up, you may say, well, that ain't normally me. I don't really do that. You made me go to that level. Lies. That is a lie from the enemy. Why do I know it's a lie from the enemy? Because it's the intent is to deceive the person who's saying it. No one can make you yell. The point is, it can't come out of you, regardless of what it is, if it's not in you. Like if you told me today, right now, this moment, hey, I'm going to give you $5 million if you speak Chinese right now. Let's make it even. Let's up the ante. Forget money. Let's talk about life. If you don't speak Chinese right now, I'm going to take your life. Like I'm going to shoot you in the head. Guess what's going to happen to me? It's my last day on the planet. Because what? Chinese ain't in there, so it can't come out. The only thing that can come out of you is what is in you. And here's the thing. A lot of what's in you, you didn't put it in there. But guess who's responsible for getting it out? You. It's so funny. The way our brains work. So give y'all a little insight to how weird I am. Every time I say you, you know what pops in my head? All About the Benjamins. I don't know if you've seen this movie. All About the Benjamins with Mike Epps, when at the beginning when he's in the store and the little the old white ladies are stealing from him and they're like, you following us? And then he's like, who you talking to? And they're like, you. That's what I'm sorry. Not sorry. Listen, personal development. Your mind only exists in your world. You cause your own pain. So, and this is a big point. I need to do a video on this by itself. Stop blaming your partner for what's going on in your life. Like, I had to do that. I came to this marriage blaming my wife for all kind of stuff. Like she had a habit of when she gets upset, like she shuts down and be quiet, right? So that was a painful thing for me. It wasn't pain she was causing. It was pain because of how I was thinking about it. And so I blamed her for making me feel whatever. I had to grow past that. That ain't true, right? And I can think of all the other stuff. I've grown so much in this marriage. But the thing is, I grew. I'm not the same person I was last year. I'm not even the same person I was last week, literally. Why? Because I'm committed to personal development. And if you're going to be married to another human being, you both, but I'm talking to you because what you do is your business. What they do is their business. You got to be committed to personal development. Like, that ain't a Clifton thing. That's a God thing. Like, the only things that don't grow are dead things. Y'all. And if you're hearing me, you're not dead. Grow. Now, here's what you can do. You can be mad at me and say, this message sucks, and unfollow me and do it. It's okay. But if you don't make the change, you still going to take your jacked up self with you, whoever else you're going to follow. And if they're not telling you that in your marriage, you need to develop, they're leading you astray. Because I can give you all this. I can give you all the communication skills. I can give you all the conflict resolution skills. I can give you all the how we create intimacy. None of that will matter if in your mind you're carrying things that block the process. Like it won't allow you to operate in these skills. Why? Because you won't develop yourself. Right? If you don't know, if you and so let me say this. This just came to mind. If you're committed to personal development, then you don't have to worry about who you marry as far as, man, we're not on the same level, or I don't know what they know. Because guess what? They wasn't born with it. If they got it, you can get it. Here's the thing. You don't want it. How do I know that? Because everybody, that sounded crazy, but everybody does what they want to do. Or to be completely accurate, everyone does what they feel like doing. Well, I didn't feel like driving across town to help my son move. Yes, you did. So you didn't feel that, but you felt like doing it so that you wouldn't have some other feelings. We only do the things we feel like doing. And if you will not grow in your marriage, it's because you don't want to. And you're sending the message to your partner that I don't love you like like well, well, actually, I guess I can't say what the exact message is, but it is an unloving message. How about that? So whether I don't love you, I don't love you like that, you're not that important, whatever, you're sending a message that you don't want to send. So then don't you get mad because the partner's getting the message and they're like, hey, I kind of feel like you're not feeling me, you're not loving me because you're not growing. Like, let me see if I did make a few notes, right? This is what I said. Oh, yes. Oh, this is good. When it comes to marriage, one of the most important, one of the most important things. As a matter of fact, now that I'm thinking about it, let me see, which one is most important? Is this more important than personal development? No, it's not. I think personal development should be your number one priority in your life, because you can't grow spiritually, you can't grow emotionally, you can't grow mentally without a commitment to personal development. So here's the thing. Because there are certain I better write down. Hold on. Because I chase a rabbit and I forget, but I'm gonna write this down because I don't want to forget where I am. Right. So there are certain laws at play on the planet that we cannot change. Right. And one of them is the law of not inertia. What's the opposite of inertia? I can't forget. I can't remember the name. You smart folk can look it up. It's just not coming to me right now. But it says an object that is not in motion will remain not in motion unless acted upon by an outside force. Or an object that is in motion will remain in motion until acted upon by an outside force. So what that means is, if you're not committed to personal development, you won't develop. It's not going to accidentally happen for you. You're not going to. So here's what you're not going to do. Pick it up in the atmosphere. That ain't. If that were true, man, I'd be so, because I've been around smart folk. Like, I've been in the room with millionaires and billionaires, meaning they might not have the money, but their brain, like, I didn't get no smarter. I learned a few facts, but it didn't do a whole lot for my mind. What my world is. My world exists in my mind. So here's the thing, committed to. So personal development, number one. I believe this is probably number two, because so personal development, number one. This thing I'm about to say, number two. And then number three is conflict resolution. The reason conflict resolution is on the hierarchy and that high is because the reason your marriage goes sideways, it's not because of what happens in your marriage. I promise you, it's not because of what happens. It is because of how you handle what happens. And if you are not developed, and if you don't do number two that I'm about to tell you, conflict resolution is, if you can't resolve conflict, you can't grow in your marriage. And if you can't resolve conflict, your marriage will either suck or fail. Like, don't be offended because I use the word suck, but be offended and don't let your marriage be that. So the second most important thing, I believe, and I'm doing this off the top of my head, I may come back and correct this, but right now what I'm thinking, personal development, this needs to be another commitment. Okay, so these are the commitments for marriage. You've committed to love, but you don't know what you committed to. You need to be committed to personal development. You need to be committed to seeking understanding. Like, I hope y'all don't think so. I hope you don't think I'm making this up. Like I did not create marriage. If I would have created marriage, it would have been heavily to my advantage, and it's not. Right? When the lesson I taught last week to the men, I wouldn't have created that. Right? My point is, this is not my stuff. I'm just telling you how marriage works, how life works. So you have to be committed to seeking understanding. Why? Because you two come from two different worlds. You guys, so you live on the same planet. If you both speak English or whatever, y'all speak the same language, you know some of the same words. But because of your internal dictionary that is unlike anybody else on the planet, you guys don't give the same meanings to the same words. And so when y'all talk, you're going to constantly miss each other. Why? Because you're not seeking understanding. Right? So you want to seek understanding. So for example, if your partner says, "You don't talk to me," you have no idea what they're talking about. You don't know if a conversation was going on in their head and they just gave you the end. You don't know if they're talking about, you literally don't talk to them. You don't know if they're talking about, you don't talk to me about the Bible, whatever. So so when you don't seek understanding, it goes something like this: "You don't talk to me," and then the other person responds with, "What do you mean I don't talk to you? I just talked to you last night. And then 2 weeks ago, like we talked for 2 hours. What are you talking about? We talk all the time." So you are defending something that you don't even know, like you don't even know if you're defending the right thing. When they say, "You don't talk to me," before you get upset, you do know you can't get upset before you give it meaning. That's the reason you got upset. So when they say, "You don't talk to me," if you get angry about that's because you gave it your meaning. Now, when you find out what they mean, you may still get upset. I don't know, because that's in your world too. But "You don't talk to me." You got to ask, "I don't talk to you," especially if you don't agree. If they're saying it, are they crazy? Like me, like literally, like do they like not have a brain? You married them, so they have a brain, and if they're not evil people are plotting your demise, meaning they want to kill you. Like that's their goal. If they're not crazy and they're not evil, what they're saying is true for them. And if you say you love them, the thing you want to do is understand what they mean, because guess what? You don't want them having pain unnecessarily. Like you feel like you talk to them. But if they say you don't talk to them, you want to find out what they mean, not defend yourself and what you do. Like that happens too often. Stop defending yourself. What are you defending? Listen. So it goes like this. Um, you don't talk to me. Wait, I don't talk to you? So when you say I don't talk to you, help me understand what you mean, because I'm not sure I understand what you're saying. Well, whenever we're at the movies, like you just sit there watching the screen, like you don't even talk to me. And then you can say, so now you have a clue what they're talking about. That wouldn't have come up, that would not have come up on your dictionary. It's not what you would have responded to, right? And so then you say, because you love them, you respond in a loving way like this. "Oh, wait, so are you saying when we're in the movies, you would like for me to talk to you instead of just watching the movie?" And they say, "Yes." Here's the thing. Number one, you understand what they mean now. Okay? Number two, you don't have to get upset by what they said. You can disagree. Like, okay, so I understand. And you may ask more, you may ask some more probing questions. So, and how long have you thought that? Like, did you grow up that way? And they may say, "Oh, yeah, I grew up and this happened and that happened. And that's, just kind of what I'm used to. And I noticed you never do it." And so in their world, they've attached talking in the movies to some kind of value that you are unaware of. That's the thing. So I'm switching lanes. I hope you got enough from that, because when I make this turn, I know I'm not gonna be able to get back to this point. But if in your life, remember I said y'all have different values. I mean, different worlds, right? In your mind, your world is in your mind, and y'all have different worlds, meaning different minds. The things that man, this is so good to me. Like, this is good to me. And I really hope this is blessing somebody. But if throughout your life, so you and your partner, before y'all met, were living life separately, and you were doing life the way you knew how, good or bad, that's how you were doing life. When y'all come together, you come with you pre-installed values that your partner don't have. And then some of the values y'all share, y'all don't share them at the same level. Right? For example, let's say one of you values God, the other one doesn't. Okay? One of you values God as the highest. One of you value God after money. And I'm just making a point. But here's the major point. Here's the major point, because I don't want you to lose it. I don't want you to miss it. What you value, your partner, number one, does not automatically know. Number two, does not automatically become their values. Number three, they got their own values. So when you say, you didn't open the door for me. Oh, this is good. So the man says, when the man says, you didn't, says to his wife, right? Because I want to make sure that I make this clear, and I don't want you, because it's not a stereotypical thing. It can happen any kind of way, because I'm making the point about what's. So the husband says, you don't open the door for me, and that makes me feel unwanted. He showed up that way. Ain't got nothing to do with you. You can't punish him for what somebody gave him that he didn't ask for, because that's called trauma, I'm sure, or some kind of injury where that probably came from. Anyway, you don't open the door for me, and it makes me feel unwanted. The wife then, if she doesn't value the same thing the same way, she gonna be confused why he's saying that. Like, what? Like, open the door for you? Like, you're a man. Like, what are you talking about? Some of you are probably saying that. You know why? Because of what's in your mind. Because it's not a universal truth. It's what you believe. So you have these values that you brought with you, and so it's Valentine's Day, and you expecting a car, and you don't get a car, because in your mind a car would mean that he loves you, because we've been talking about it, we've been planning for it, and we got the money for it, but you don't get it. And so you interpret that as, he don't love me, because you value something that he don't value. And here's another thing. Your partner does not have to value what you value. Like, they don't. Your partner values what they value. All you can do is make a decision of whether or not you want to be with someone who values that. That's it. That's all. Don't be trying to change folks' values. And I don't know if it was Oprah or if it was Maya Angelou. One of them said, when people show you who they are, believe them. I like that, because too often, I know I've done this too many times, judging people based on who I think they are, who I want them to be, as opposed to what I actually see. I just let somebody be. I just freed somebody up. I know I did. I'm gonna say it again. So sometimes, do you realize? Another thought came in. Do you realize that you are more responsible for your life than God? So here's the thing about your life. You can't do what God can do for your life. That is true. You can't do what God can do. But here's the other side of that. He's not going to do what you can do. Like when I talk about personal development, God's not going to open up a book and pour knowledge in your head. God's not going to open up your Bible so you can know him better. Right? God's not going to have opportunities knock on your door, say, hey, are you trying to sell something? I'm looking to buy something. Not going to happen. Hey, here I am. I'm a small business. I would like to be in your hands. Would you open your hands, please, so I can get. Not going to happen. Okay. All right. So, last thing, because I got it on this list. Two more things. Let me share this, because this came up. Man, this came up so many times this week. And it used to be just the men. Now it's men and women. And when I say used to be just the men, meaning coming in my office, not like historically in life. But usually it was the men who were coming in afraid to talk or afraid to express themselves, afraid to speak up to their wives. But now it's folk coming in and they're just engulfed in fear. Really, it's anxiety. What is anxiety? Anxiety is belief in an outcome. Anxiety is energy with you thinking about a future outcome that you don't desire. Okay. So don't be afraid to talk to your partner. Let me tell you something. And I was thinking about this last night. I was thinking about it today. Because I wanted to, before I say it, I wanted to make sure it was completely true. And it is. You being afraid to talk to your partner is I'm using the number I always use, 1,000% on you. Even if they've made it unsafe for you to talk, it's still up to you. Because what we have never been able to do on this planet, they tried to do it in slavery. And when you look at slavery, you may think they accomplished it. They didn't. We cannot control human beings. If you yell at me and tell me to sit down and I sit down, I made a choice to sit down. You whipping me made me make the choice. I don't want that pain anymore. So I'm going to make the choice to do whatever. But I still made the choice. Okay. And I said that to make the point that I'm making. If you are afraid to talk to your partner, you can't blame them. You too aggressive and I'm afraid to talk. Or, you talk too much. I can't get a word in. You say what you say and then you walk off and I can't never, or I'm afraid because I don't want to hurt your feelings, or I'm afraid because it's going to spin out of control, or I'm afraid because, like, who's afraid? The one that's saying I is the one with the issue. That be you. That's you. So if you're afraid to talk to your partner, husbands, if you are afraid to speak truth to your wife, if you are afraid to speak the truth in love, that's on you. I don't care if she said, if you say one more word to me, I'm gonna cut your throat. It might be wise. It might be wise not to say anything, but the choice is yours. You feel me? My point is, stop blaming other folk for your behavior. I don't care what the behavior is. I don't care what the behavior is. Stop blaming other folk for that. It's not their fault. You did that. And the last thing I'm gonna share, I didn't even think it was gonna be this long. Last thing I'm gonna share, I think I'm gonna send this to YouTube too. Why not? I kind of said this early. I think I said that already. You're causing your own pain by the way you think. If I didn't, just in case I did, let me see. So a lot of times you're causing your own pain by the way that you are thinking. Yeah, I did say that because I remember talking about it. But so let me just reiterate it. Like your husband not opening the door for you hurts because you gave it a certain kind of value for it to hurt. Right? Like using myself as an example, in my marriage, there's so many things that when I showed up to the marriage, hurt my feelings, I didn't like, didn't agree with, didn't want. Now, a lot of those things may still exist because they weren't necessarily wrong. There was something wrong with me, but I changed my perspective. I changed my mind, and I took responsibility for how I was feeling. And guess what I decided to do? Grow. Yeah, because if you're going to be married, you got to be committed to personal development. Or, say it with me, class, you will suffer without fail. You can take it to the bank or you can put it in your pocket. But trust me, like I said, I don't know if I said this yesterday, but one thing about life is another reason why you want to be committed to personal development all the days of your life. I don't care if you're 85. Because in life on this planet, so if you want to call it a game, in life on this planet, you are going to get tackled regardless. Like everybody gets tackled, right? Relating it to football. If you're alive, you're going to get hit. But here's the thing. If you get hit, it'd be best if you were on the field. Like, don't get tackled on the sideline. Don't be way up in the stands. Like you're in the nosebleeds. And life is coming up there to tackle you. Like you're not even moving. That's the thing. Like if getting tackled is inevitable, at least move the chains, at least move the ball. Like at least run plays. Like don't be sitting on the sideline getting tackled. What? That don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. Do you know that there are no superhumans on the planet? No superhumans on the planet. I'm hot. No superhumans on the planet. What does that mean? That means the accomplishments that you see other human beings doing, you can do. No superhumans on the planet. Folk that have a great marriage, ask them how they did that. I promise you, God didn't just say, hey, you want a great marriage? Here you go. No, they had to work for it. They had to personally develop. I hope all of my clients are seeing this because I'm talking to you. Okay? Commit yourself to personal development. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to create some kind of initial assessment or test. I'm saying it here first. I'm going to create something for when clients come in for the consultation, because I do like a 30-minute consultation, right? And I'm going to create something to where I can assess before you sign up to work with me, are you committed to personal development? Because if you're not, I'm not interested in working with you. You're not ready. And you're just going to be, I'm going to be frustrated and you're going to be wasting your money. And I'm not cheap. I'm not even close to cheap, right? So if you're going to pay me, you need to be committed to personal development. That's it. That's all. That's, if you want a better marriage, commit to, I think I'm going to do a more formal, friendly, and kind presentation for you guys about personal development and having a good marriage. In case you can't receive it the way I gave it today, I'll do it again with notes and structure, and I'll go bam, 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 bam to help you, whatever it's going to take. But you need to be committed to personal development. That's it. That's all. Okay? All right. Y'all enjoy your Saturday. Let's call this, I don't have nothing for it. It's, oh, wait a minute. Oh, let me tell you something. So here's something I learned from Myron Golden. Let me throw this at you real quick. So one of the things that we learn, so in Genesis, the Bible says, in the beginning, God created, right? And so it's interesting. That's the first thing we learn about God, that he is creative, right? He creates. And then we find out the first thing he said about us is he made us in his image. So we are creators like God. He made us that. So because Dr. Myron told us God has the greatest content, I'm like, that's true. God has the greatest content. And so I'm like, okay, Lord, so for the assignment that you've given me to help folk have better marriages and relationships, help me tap into my creativity so that I can, just like put my own stamp on stuff. Like, because really, like, there's no new information. Like the stuff that I teach about marriage, it's in the Bible. It's been in there. All the books that I have about marriage, like, it's not new knowledge. But as a creator, I asked God to give me a way to, present my message that's, in my creative lane. And he did. He gave me that. And it hit me so hard. I had to go buy a domain for it before. So I bought a domain last night. I haven't done any kind of, all I got was the concept. Oh, let me get this domain. Bam. And I'm not ready to share it with you yet. I'm sorry I set you up for that, but it's good. It's good. The way it is, and it's so for me, it's so encouraging that I would pray something and God would reveal this to me, because trust me, man, I'm telling you, no lie. I have, for probably since as long as I've been a therapist, trying to come up with something, for lack of a better word, catchy, that people can grab to, but also could help them, like, remember the principles, but also walk in the principles. He gave that to me, like, because I asked. And I'm like, bro, why you never asked before? And actually, I don't know if I have or hadn't, but the thing is, I probably was not ready. I probably was not in the right place. So, okay, I'm not going into that. All right, you guys enjoy your Saturday, and I will see y'all next time. Well, I won't see you, but you'll see me next time.